let's talk about persuasive writing. Well, now, persuasive writing includes an author's opinions along with logical facts and reasoning that will convince reader to agree with that positions. Now, persuasive writing, at first, some people might mistaken it for opinion text, but persuasive writing are quite different because it gave opinion along with facts to support that opinion. So it's quite different from logical opinion text. So the first and most essential quality of an effective persuasive writing is that it state a clear position, which is the perspective on a topic, and it is the main idea of the text, and it should be stated early on in the text, if not as the first sentences of the piece of writing. For example, in his first inaugural address to the country, President Franklin D. Roosevelt delivered a famously persuasive speech in order to convince Americans that the only thing that we have to fear is fear itself. So what is the opinions here, the perspective here? Well, the President Franklin D. Roosevelt here is trying to persuade Americans by making a clear statement that even after the Great Depressions, citizens need to support the government to do what was needed to help the country recover. So, President Franklin D. Roosevelt is giving an opinion. He's saying that Americans should, support the government to do what was needed to help the country recover. And he persuade them by giving facts, opinions, facts that although that after the Great Depressions, citizens would need to support each other because everybody are poor and like that, so that they need to support each other or support the government so that it can help the country recover more quickly. Okay, now effective persuasive writing will also do what's called acknowledging the counterclaim. This means that we are recognizing what someone who has the opposite point of view would say, but we are still providing evidence afterward as to why, even to that person, should still agree with our position. It shows that we are well informed and educated about our topic, and it is actually strengthen our argument. That's the second thing. For example, in the same paragraph as in this position, President Franklin D. Roosevelt also acknowledged that the country was in bad state of affair. In this, rather than trying to make it seem like everything was okay, he let people know that he was aware that the country was hurting, but that he felt that he had a solution to make things better. So he's giving opinion that he have solution. He's having solution of his own. So it's opinion of his own that is better by giving facts that the country's hurting. So by using his opinion, his solution would make things better. Now, next up, we should use logical reasoning to persuade too. After stating a position on a topic, we need to use the best logical evidence we can to convince the reader or the listener of a position. While we may brainstorm many example quotes and other types of evidence that will help us convince our reader, we often have to choose just a few of the idea that will be the most effective in convincing our audience. So, for example here, after his introduction, President Franklin D. Roosevelt introduction, where he stated his position and acknowledged the opposing position. President Franklin D. Roosevelt presented logical fact that supported why he thought he could fix the country. He gave logical facts, not opinion, to point it out that why, to point it out that his opinion that he can support it and fix the country. So the opinion here is that President Franklin D. Roosevelt here is trying to say that he can fix and help our country by giving logical facts. Why. He pointed out that he had abundance of material to sell in our economy. That's first, and that we had identified and rejected the greedy money charger, so that we caused our economy to fail as an American public. And lastly, we should make an effective conclusion. As the final means of convincing our reader of our position, we need to make sure that at the end of the piece, we restated that opinion and summarized the best evidence that there is to support it from the body of the paper. This become a concluding paragraph that represents the last impression that we will make on our reader. So it is important that he or she will clearly understand our position and evidence. For example, here, to make sure that he make a lasting impression on his audience, the president here, Franklin D. Roosevelt, concluded with the following words: "Happiness lies not in the mere possession of money, it lies in the joy of achievement, in the thrill of a creative effort. The joy and moral stimulations of work no longer must be forgiven in the mad chase of abundance profit. These dark days will be worth all they cost us if they teach us that our true destiny is not to be ministered unto, but to minister to ourselves and to our fellow men." Okay, so each sentences relate. Here is the best evidence he has to support his position that we as Americans are in charge of our fate and that we have nothing to fear as a result. So he's giving opinion and giving the best fact there is to support giving the best fact, the best evidence there is to support his opinion that as Americans we are in charge of our fate and that we have nothing to fear as a result, and we should do to help the government, stuff like that. Okay, so here to write a persuasive writing, we first of all we must give a clear statement of the position of this perspective of our opinion, and then we gave the acknowledging of the opposing position. So we give what are going on, and then we would give logical reason to persuade that our opinions are right. So then we start giving evidence and facts to help support our opinions. And then after that, lastly, we would give an effective conclusion. Summarize all of them, give using the best evidence and best fact there is to support opinion is right. To give it, give our understanding more clearly to their position and the evidence. Okay, so thank you for coming and have a great day.